All right, all right, all right. Okay, GHL Mastery, just so y'all know, this is being streamed in the GHL Mastery free group with a brand new set of workshops that we're going to be doing each and every single week. And the other lovely faces that you see in here are our GHL Mastery Platinum folks, where we're going to be putting kind of hands-on, get to work type stuff. But you guys in the free group will be able to follow along every single week as we do these things so that you guys can learn everything you need to know about Highlevel. We're going to be building these in kind of stacking and leveling up ways where we're going to start today with the absolute basics that you need to know inside Highlevel to start building systems for your agency or for clients as well. So today's topic is literally basics, is building your assets. I've got a couple of videos out on YouTube already that kind of discuss this a little bit, but we're going to focus on building your assets in custom values and custom fields and kind of understanding how all of those things get put together, how they all work, what they're for. It's often one of the first questions we get is, hey, what's the difference between the two? So we're going to dive deep into this, and I want you guys to all follow along. So everybody that's here on the call right now, I want you guys to follow along. I want you to be building. I want you to be doing exactly what I'm doing so that you guys can get your hands dirty. If you're watching this on the live stream, I want you guys to do the same if you've got time and you're sitting in front of your computer. If you're watching this on the replay, I want you to also do what we're doing, because this is all about practice, getting your hands dirty, muscle memory, so that you don't even have to think what does what or what goes where, because you're actually physically doing it on the live stream. So that is what the purpose of these Friday workshops are. We're going to be covering a variety of different topics because we know there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in Highlevel. So Platinum folks, are you guys ready for this? Everybody's
Absolutely.
got some head nods. Okay, beauty. Here's how we're going to start. This is week 1. So what I want everybody to do in week 1 is we're going to create a blank snapshot sub account to be your sandbox. So let's kind of dive into this bad boy. And for those of you who don't know how to create a new sub account, welcome. You're going to learn how to do it. So we're going to go into your sub accounts and we're going to create a blank snapshot, and we're going to just create the account manually. I'm going to put in my own information here. I can't even spell my own name. Everybody who's watched me live knows I can't spell when I'm doing live streams. So here's what we typically do. This is going to be a Sandbox account. So if you put Z in front of this account, it's going to drop it to the bottom of your snapshot. So it's not going to be an active client account. It won't be the first thing visible when you log in, but we're going to title this GHL Mastery Workshops Workshop Sub Account. And typically I'll just create a fake address for this, like 123 Fake Street is a common one I use. I am in Calgary, so I'll say that. I'm in Canada. By the way, whatever currency you charge, make sure that you put this city and country into that correct place. I'm going to do AB. I'm going to do a fake zip code, and I'm going to put in my phone number here, and we're going to call this good. Okay, we've got a blank snapshot. Platinum folks, who has done this step? Anybody? Anybody? Diana's good?
Almost there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will wait until I get a thumbs up from one of you guys at the very least. If you need me to slow down at any point, just you guys are Platinum. You can tell me to do what you want and just say slow down, take it easy. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, Diana has given me a thumbs up, so we're gonna move on to the next phase. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to just switch to that sub account. Let's get into it. This is going to be blank. It's going to have nothing on it. We're literally starting from scratch. And when I talk about assets, typically when I talk about assets, I'm talking about things inside the system that run the system. Without assets, you can't do much. So custom values is our asset class number 1, because custom values, and we'll open up this document here in a second, but custom values are system-wide values for the customer. So each sub account can have the same set of custom values, but those custom values can have a different set of information that will then make the system unique to that client or that business. Okay. And what we want to use custom values for are things like business name, contact information for the business, notification email addresses or text messages, because your customers might have a landline number that they're going to plug in here, but you're trying to send them text messages. So you need to make sure that if you're sending internal notifications in workflows, that your custom values are text specific. And then again, any outbound messaging that ends up happening for clients, you can use these custom values set up in a snapshot so that you don't have to go and redo all of the from emails and from email names and all of that sort of stuff. So we want to set up some baseline custom values to start for your snapshots. And we're literally building this from scratch. We're not using a snapshot. So let's kind of cover this. Everybody will be able to access this document after this call. But basically, custom values are system-wide values in each sub-account. These allow you to create a snapshot with pre-existing values loaded into workflows, emails, SMS, and anywhere else that you communicate company information to leads or clients, okay? So you got to think of custom values as business-specific information for each location or sub-account. There are no standard custom values. So there's custom values and there's custom fields. There's a bunch of standard custom fields, which we'll cover in just a second. But there is no such thing as a standard custom value when you start a blank sub-account. Okay, so we have to create these. Now you can create these the way that we do it, and we have standardized custom values for every snapshot that we create so that they're basically always there. And one of the things that we do is we actually have a master template that just has all of our core fields that we always use loaded in that master template. So when we create a brand new sub-account, we load that snapshot into it. And so that's kind of some of the stuff that we're going to get into a little bit here. So let's go into settings and custom values. This is where we're going to start to create some of our standard values. Now in this document, I've got some recommended standard custom values, but these are not all required. Again, these are custom to what you're doing, to what your customers need, and are the most important part when you're building a snapshot that you're going to reuse or resell. Okay, so I've got a couple notes over here, but agency name, email, and phone number. These fields are more so important. And I put a little note here that these are really, really important if you're building a snapshot to sell it to another agency owner. Because if you're building a snapshot for yourself that your customers are going to use, you can hard code your agency name, email, and phone number into the internal notifications, and they'll never change, right? Because that's your agency. However, if you are planning on selling this snapshot to other agency owners, these fields would be highly, highly valuable fields to add so that that agency owner can just go and plug in their name, their email, their phone number, and then set those in the internal notification structures inside the workflows. So not fully necessary if you're building this out for customers. However, these ones here, I would absolutely put in the system. So we're going to do this as we go. So client name, we're going to come over here and we're going to add client name. Now, you cannot add a custom value when you're building a snapshot without putting a value in it. So I cannot hit create because it's just going to give me an error. So I need to actually put a name in here. I'm just going to use myself. And that's going to then create the custom value. Now, every single time you create a new value, you've got the value name that is going to be corresponded with by the value key. Okay, you've got custom underscore values. So every single custom value that you make is going to have custom underscore values dot and then the actual name of the custom value that you just created. So let's keep going. We've got client name, we've got client email, client phone. Let's create another one.
Hey, Adam, did you send that document to us?
Not yet. It will be available to you in the membership area. And actually, you know what? Why don't we get you guys access to this right now inside the chat here? There you go. I sent it inside the Zoom chat. So you guys do now have access to that document. We got email. Now we're going to do phone. So everybody just kind of keep on following along. Now, I've had this question asked before. Why do I have client phone and then have the next one that I recommend, which is client SMS notification and client email? Well, I kind of already mentioned it. Sometimes your client may have their admin email that they don't want lead notifications going to their CEO, which is the person who signed up for the account. So you don't want to use location email here. You want to use a custom one that is where they want to receive lead notifications or response notifications and things like that. The same thing goes with the client SMS notification. They may give you a landline number for their main office when they sign up. You don't want to use that if you're trying to send a text message, because that's obviously going to fail, and we need to make sure that they're getting their notifications. So that's why we have different fields for client email, client phone, and email and SMS notifications. I want to do phone. I'm just going to make up a phone number here. Another interesting thing that you could do here is that if you actually take this phone number here and you add +1 to this, you can use this in funnels and things like that to be a click to call link just by using the custom value. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with custom values like that. I'm going to do that one, and then I'm going to get into SMS notification. And again, these fields here, you can literally do whatever you want with them. But this is just kind of a baseline to let you guys fully understand how to use them. Now, I'm going to skip over this one. I'll do it later, but here's some optional ones that we ourselves have found super useful, especially when you're building a snapshot that comes with a funnel or a website that you're delivering as part of your service. If you add things like the client logo and the primary color code and secondary color codes, you can actually design your funnel around these custom values and custom fields, so that you can have your client's logo automatically populated into the funnel. And you can also have their custom colors baked into that as well, just from a standard onboarding form. And then all of a sudden their websites are their brand and their colors and their logo and everything like that. So totally optional, but if you are doing anything with funnels and landing pages and opt-in forms and things like that, super, super useful. We do this for every single one of our estimator clients. All of our estimator tools have these standard values in them. So does anybody have any questions on this portion of the custom values, or is that tip top clear? Every thumbs up if you're good, and we can move on. Beauty. Okay. We're now going to move on to custom fields. And the major difference between custom values and custom fields is, as I said before, values are sub-account specific. Fields are contact specific. And Highlevel has recently added some new things to custom fields like opportunity fields. And so there's a lot of confusion around that. We're going to cover a little bit of that today as well. So custom fields are lead/prospect/customer specific fields to capture data for your clients or for their clients or business. There are tons of standard fields. I'm going to brush over some of these standard fields because they're not necessarily required, but it's important to know. And if you've got this document, you'll have the ability to see all of them. But basically, the standard fields are broken down into the following categories. You got a text field, which is a single line text field that for custom inputs. So I can put in the name of my company, for example. Multi-line text fields are just larger text boxes that you can add more information, paragraphs, things like that too. You've got number fields, which can be used to say, hey, how many dogs do you have? And they can put 4. And fun fact, number fields are the only or one of 2 fields that you can do math functions off of inside workflows. So we actually use number fields quite often to do a lot of creative things inside the workflow structures. Phone numbers, this is actually a relatively new one. These are different from standard phone fields. And so some of the things that you can actually do with these are update secondary phone numbers and things like that for contact records. Again, this is relatively new. We don't personally use it a ton, but we do use it. Monetary is going to be, showing monetary value. So how much is your monthly payment on X, Y, and Z thing? That will show a monetary value inside the system. You've got single drop down. So a single drop down is a list of options that they can pick one. That is what a single drop down does on a form or a survey. And then in contrast, drop-down multiple effectively is a list, drop-down list where you can select multiple, which correspond with radio and checkboxes. Okay, radio buttons are, you can have multiple options, but you can only pick one. So radio buttons and single drop-down are kind of the same, just in a different format. And then checkboxes are multiple options, which you can select multiple options of. So again, same as drop-down, multiple options, just in a different format. You've got checkboxes. So with the hot topic of A2P being in the world nowadays, checkboxes are what you would use for that as well. If you wanted to just create a yes button that they agree that they can send text messages and such to their clients, you would use a checkbox field. You've got date picker, which is a calendar dropdown so that the user can select a date. We're building one right now actually for a DJ, where it's like, what date do you want? Well, we use a date picker because now they can go and open up a quick calendar and select the date that they want for the event. You've got file uploads, which allow for multiple file upload types. You can do PDFs, Word docs, you can do images, PNGs, JPEGs, the works. You can also allow for them to upload multiple files with this as well, which is super handy. And then signature, again, is relatively new because of the proposals and estimates structure that has come out. Signatures has been around a lot longer, but now with signatures, especially in the proposals and estimates, you actually have IP tracking and things like that, which will actually make the document a little bit more legal than it was before. So those are sort of your standard options for creating custom fields. And then these are the things that I'm not going to go over, but these are the things that if you want to be good inside Highlevel, you should spend a little bit of time getting to know what the standard custom fields are. And the difference between a standard custom field and a non-standard custom field is if I come into custom fields, in a brand new snapshot, there are already these custom fields. So these ones are what I consider to be standard fields. If you go into folders, you've got contact information, general info, and then by default, you have additional info as well, but that folder is empty. So all of your standard contact fields are name, first name, last name, email, phone number, date of birth, contact source, and contact type. So whether that's lead or client. And then you've got general info, which typically consists of address information, time zone information, and things like that. So those are basic standard fields that are all included in here. So get to know these because you will use them a lot when you're building stuff out. And in fact, I've gotten to know them so well that I can actually type them faster than I can go and find them in a checkbox selector most of the time. So this is going to help speed up your building processes by quite a bit when you're building workflows and emails and text messages. If you just know what these are, it will speed things up way faster. Now we've got user standard fields. So again, these are fields that exist inside the system, whether you like it or not, that you can now use when assigning leads to a user. These are not super valuable if you don't do user assignment. But the use case for these types of things is that when you get a lead, you've got a sales team of 5 different people, right? In your workflow, you assign via round robin the leads to one of these 5 people. And each person has their own email address. Each person has their own phone number. Each person has their own calendar link, their own email signatures that you want to go out in the default emails. And you want to be able to deliver the correct contact information for the user that is assigned to that lead. So that's what these fields are for. These are all just standardized user fields for when a contact is assigned to a user. You've got Twilio phone number for user phone and user phone raw. We'll get into this in the coming weeks when we talk about user structure and user setup, but there is a section inside the user setup that you can say which Twilio number or LC phone number you want to assign to that user. Those will populate once you've assigned that to a user. Same thing with the user calendar link. You do need to specify at the user level which calendar that you've created in Highlevel that they are going to actually have assigned to the user itself. Otherwise, those fields are going to be blank. Everybody good on standard user fields? Awesome. Okay, now we've got calendar standard fields. These are also super, super important. And I'll be honest, I don't have all of them memorized, but when you are setting up appointment reminders and things like that, these are kind of the standard fields that you want to know and understand and use so that you can send appointment reminders in the right formats to your clients. And I've played around with these a ton, right? Because there's a lot of different options on how you actually create verbiage around these custom fields. You can say, hey, your appointment starts Thursday at 2 p.m. Well, there's different ways to do that, right? So your start date time is going to have Thursday or Friday, September 1st at 1 p.m. That's how it's going to display. There's also date fields, which will show you the actual numeric version of the date that you're sending. So just get to know these. I always find that the easiest way to do this is literally just copy this, put it in an email, build a workflow, book yourself an appointment, and just let it send you an email so that you know exactly what's being sent with each and every single one of these, which is why we created this document for you. You can literally just copy this, paste it into an email, book an appointment, and let this email send it out to you so that you fully understand what's being sent with each field. All right, now you've got location standard fields. Any questions before I move on the calendar fields? I think these ones are pretty self-explanatory. They are a little bit confusing once you really dive into it. Matt. So Matt, thank you. This is a great one. These are, I'm actually going to copy this and add this to this document because this is brilliant. Thank you, Matt. Matt just pasted these into our Zoom chat here. These are appointment user fields. So if an appointment gets booked in a user's calendar and the user's calendar is the one that is assigned to the contact, very, very useful. So thank you, Matt. Location standard fields. Anybody want to make a guess what these are? Okay, I'll just tell you. Location standard fields are located in your settings, business profile, and general information and business physical address. Okay, so these are going to be set dynamically when somebody has an account. So it's all the information that we just put in when we created this blank account, all that information got populated because we told it to, right? So if we go into your business profile, all that information is going to be in here. And these are where it pulls the location specific information. So this is going to be the location name, your business friendly name. This is the legal name. Now, business email, if I was to use the location.email, this currently has nothing in it. It's this blank. There's no value. As soon as you put in a business email, that value will be populated and you can now use it. So oftentimes, what we do, because we know how we typically create our sub accounts, we will use the business's name in the sub account. And so in that event, we don't actually need to create a custom value. We can use the location value for that client because we know that the actual friendly name is the company's name. And so when we send out A2P stuff, we can say location.name, right? This is Adam from GHL Mastery because this will be GHL Mastery. But that's where all of your standard location fields exist. Make sense? Awesome. And then you've got right now standard fields. Now, I didn't think these were particularly useful until I started getting a little bit creative with them. But man, is there a lot of creative use cases for this. One use case that I will give everybody a freebie here is for creating custom memory keys if you're using AI. You can use the right now date fields to create a unique number that is going to be specific to that individual user. The other way that we've done this is we have service tickets. And so we actually create a service ticket number that we can then reference based on the month, day, year, and minute, second. So it's it's a large number that is unique to the very second that that person actually filled out the form. So there's a few unique use cases for this as well. Do any of you guys have one of those fancy footers on your website that's, copyright 2022 or 2023 and business name? this is another area that you can use right now year on your actual funnels, and that will change every single year without you having to go in and change it. So you can use these values basically across the board, which is super, super handy.
Adam, I'm using that on a website right now. For some reason, it's not giving me the year. What it's giving me is actually the right now variable that's right there. Can you
Okay,
think of any reasons why that wouldn't work?
I can think of some.
Okay.
If somebody built your funnel and it was like this, and it has the square brackets instead of the squirrely brackets, that will do it. So you need to make sure that it is in this exact format on your website. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put it in the chat for you, Samori, and you can literally go and paste that in there. So I'll actually just go to the I'll show you guys on our website here. If I scroll all the way down, we've got our footer. This is actually that custom value. So all of these fields can be used dynamically across all sorts of different pages all over your sub accounts. All right. Now we've got customizable custom fields. So those are kind of, I did not put all of the standard fields in here. I put the ones that are the most used ones that we use that have valuable use cases to them. There is a help doc at help.gohighlevel.com that has all of them listed. Some of the ones that I didn't put on here are attribution sources. So where did the leads come from? What was the first attribution source? So did they come from Facebook or Google or whatever? What campaign, what ad creative, what ad set? Those are all attribution sources that you can use. And those are all on the Highlevel help doc for the custom values and custom fields that you can use. It's called custom fields and merge fields inside help.gohighlevel.com. So if you search for that, this will pull up all of those. These are just the standard ones that we like to use. Now let's get into custom fields, because there's some new stuff going on with Highlevel that not a lot of people know about. Custom fields that you create are custom fields that you can use to collect additional information about contacts, right? So you've got your standard contact fields, but what if you're working with a mortgage broker? Well, a mortgage broker is going to want to ask, what type, like how long of a term are you looking for? How much house are you looking to buy? Do you have a, give us an interest rate that you want? So these are all fields that you can create for your clients that are going to be consistent across all contacts. Okay, so these are customized custom fields for contacts, which you will then use to create surveys and forms to gather and collect additional information about your prospects. Okay, now where do you do that? We're going to go into our settings and we're going to go to custom fields. In this document, I talk about, we highly recommend that you set up folders first. Okay, if you want to keep your stuff organized, you're going to want to set up folders right out of the gate so that you can segment different pieces of contact information into a different folder. So I already showed you guys that we've got contact, general info, and additional info. If you want to create a new custom field and you just want to use additional information, you can click into this folder and then click add field. Okay, this is going to create that field inside that folder. But another unique use case for this, in fact, I'm having a conversation with a client right now. They have like 15 different documents that they need uploaded by the client. And so we created a folder for documents so that when your client is in the system and they're looking to find where these documents are, there's a folder for it. And they can just go in and they can look at all the documents that have been uploaded in that one folder. They're not mixed across all these different custom variables. And as you get building, you will have a lot. So it's super, super important to keep these things organized. Okay, now I said there's a new thing that's going on, and I'm going to show you what the new thing is. Highlevel recently came out with opportunity fields versus just contact fields. So previously we've been able to tie questions to a specific contact record, but now we can also tie those same questions to an opportunity. And this gets a little bit weird. And I am sure that give us like a few months. This is relatively new. Highlevel is going to fix this, but as of today, September 1st, 2023, this is some stuff you need to understand about opportunity fields. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to create a folder. Now I'm going to create this folder and I'm just going to use the example of documents. Okay, I have a choice. I can either create an object for contact or an object for opportunities. Okay. The way that it works today is you need a contact field in order to update an opportunity field. So if you're getting a client to fill out a form to collect additional information, that's going to be a contact custom field. And then when you run your workflow, you're going to go into your add opportunity or add update opportunity. And you are going to then add a opportunity field to that and update that opportunity field with the custom field that was on the form. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you have to do, and it's a little bit annoying. I'm sure that it will change. I'm almost positive that this will change. But first, you need to create a contact object for documents. Okay, so we're creating a folder for documents and we're creating a contact object. So let's go ahead and save that. We're going to go into documents and we're going to add a new field. I'm just going to use a file upload field here because we're trying to get document information from clients. So let's go next. And we are going to name this field application. So because we're creating a contact object field, if you click this additional preferences button, this is going to be the unique key, contact.application. So it works the same way as custom values. It's going to create a unique key for this custom field. Okay, you can then choose because I went into the folder that I just created for documents and then created the field, it automatically puts that field in the documents folder. Okay, if I was to be in all fields when I create a new field, this will be empty and I will have to choose which folder to put it into. Okay, so all fields have to be put in a folder. The contact object is where you can decide, is this a contact field or is this an opportunity field? Okay, now my experience is that you actually need to do one of each, which is a little bit annoying. We're going to create the contact field first. Okay, we're going to allow all file types and we're going to hit save. Now you've got that application field that you can start to use in your surveys and forms and things like that, as well as deliver this into your customers via email and so forth.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
When I create a folder for documents, when I go into group in the new custom field setup, I don't see the option to choose document. Do I still need to choose contact, general info, or additional info?
We'll cover that when we do the breakout, because this
Okay,
I may cover this like right this second.
Okay.
You're basically saying that when you created the documents folder, you don't see it in folders?
I see it in folders, but I don't see it when I go in the folder and I say add a field. It doesn't give me that option to throw it in documents.
It should be there by default. So if you create that field, and then hit save, it's going to be in that folder because you were in that folder when you created the field.
Okay. I'll play with it a bit. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, all good. All good. Questions are good. That's how we learn. Okay. I'm going to copy application because I'm now going to duplicate this field and I'm going to make an opportunity section out of it. So here's kind of the weird gotcha. We're going to go add folder. This time we're going to call it documents again, but we're going to make it an opportunity object this time. Okay. This is where it gets weird. And I cover this in here. That folder does not exist in custom field folders. Okay. You will not be able to find that folder. That folder will only exist in an opportunity element as of today. Okay. Now, the next thing we also have to do is we're going to take application. We're going to add a field. We're going to add a file upload again. We're going to call it application, but this time, instead of making it a contact object, we're going to make it an opportunity object. Okay. The group now, because we've selected object is opportunity, we're going to have a new group option for where we're going to put that. And that's going to go into the documents group, opportunities group. Okay. And the difference here, if I click on additional preferences, instead of this being contact.application, it is now opportunity.application. Okay. Everybody following so far?
Yeah, pretty much. Just explain why you did that.
Why I put an opportunity object in place?
Well, it sounds like what you did is you created a document folder inside of the other document folder that we had. Is that correct?
No. So
No.
that's the confusing thing about, and again, I'm really hoping that eventually they'll maybe have like a contact folders and an opportunities folders where you can see what you've done. As of right now, when you create an opportunity object, so whether that's a folder for opportunities or an opportunity custom field, you cannot find them inside custom values, inside this section that we're sitting in right now.
Right.
Okay. They only exist inside the opportunities tab itself. Okay. So what I did is I created an application custom field first. Okay. So a contact.application is the first thing that I created because I'm going to need to collect that information off of a form or a survey or something that a client is going to fill out. Okay. So that needs to be a contact object. But then when I go into the workflow to create an opportunity from that object, I need to have a corresponding opportunity object that I can assign it to when I do the workflow.
Right.
Okay. So that's why I'm effectively duplicating every single contact field that is relevant to an opportunity so that I can create an opportunities field out of it.
Right. But that opportunity dot application or that field we put inside of a document folder as well.
It will be put inside of an opportunity object document folder. So here,
Okay.
let me show you this. This might make a little bit more sense once we do this. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. So I've got my application. It's an opportunity object. I'm putting it in the opportunity group of documents, not the custom field group, the contact field group. And this is the unique key for it. Okay. So I'm just going to hit save. Now these ones, this is kind of weird. When I was playing around with this earlier today, see how it says there's only one field? That opportunity field that you just saw is no longer in here. So this is what I mean by they disappear, they vanish, right? So it still exists, but it doesn't exist in these folders, which is why I'm hoping that one day Highlevel will have a contact folders and an opportunities folder so you can see what you have, right? Now, if I go back and I'm just going to I'm going to jump the gun just a little bit here. I'm going to quickly create a pipeline. And we're just going to put in one stage here. So new lead. And we'll cover this in more depth on another week here. But we're going to go now into our opportunities and we're going to go and we're going to create an opportunity. So inside, hang on a second. Let's create me here. So now that I've got a contact created, there is now inside the opportunity a documents section. Here is the element that we created for the opportunity.
Yep.
Okay.
Now that document section, that's what I was referring to. We created that document folder inside of the document folder we made for custom fields, correct?
Sort of. You got to think of these as two completely separate things.
Sure.
So this documents folder is in an opportunity, only in an opportunity. It is not inside of a contact record.
Sure. But we created it. Like we
Yes.
manually created that inside of that other documents folder.
Correct.
Got you.
It doesn't sit or get nested inside that custom field folder.
Mhm.
it gets created there, but it actually sits and gets nested inside the opportunity itself.
Right.
I don't know how just yet to find and edit or update opportunity fields because I can't find them inside the custom fields section where I create them, which is why I'm saying I really hope that Highlevel does something with this. Because even in this add manage fields, like, can I find the custom value for application? I can. Okay, there you go. So that's how you can find it, is in all fields. And then you can edit which one it is. But in folders, I only have the one documents folder. I don't know where the opportunity documents folder exists. Haven't
Gotcha.
figured that out yet. This is a new structure. It's a new feature. So that's kind of the baseline of creating those custom values. I wanted to show the opportunity structure just because it is a new feature that a lot of people were asking for, and there's a lot of confusion around it. So Maury, as you can already tell, it's not super straightforward and simple. And a big part of that is when you create that object, it disappears. It's like, where did it go? I am positive that Highlevel will have an update for that sooner than later, to be able to find your opportunity fields and folders. But as of right now, it's not super straightforward. And then we'll get into kind of how you actually put those custom fields into those opportunity fields when we start talking about pipelines and workflows. But for right now, we just want to create those contact elements so that we can then create forms and surveys and things like that to actually collect information. So that's kind of way number one, but there's always more than one way to do anything in Highlevel. If you've been in the system for any amount of time, you're going to know that there's literally 3 or 4 different ways to do any one action inside Highlevel. So because we're on custom values and custom fields, we're going to show you the next way that you can do what we just did. And that is by going into your sites, either forms or surveys, doesn't matter, pick one, whatever one you're going to build. And I'll cover really quickly the difference between forms and surveys. Okay, form is a one page. You get one slide to ask all of your questions and get things answered. Okay, a survey is when you can have multiple different slides that can ask different questions, as well as put in logical conditions. So if I've got a radio button, that says how many dogs do you have? 1, 2, 3, or 4. If they pick 1 or 2, go to slide 2. If they pick 3 or 4, go to slide 3. Those are types of things that you can do with a survey that you cannot do with forms. Okay. But because we're just talking about creating these custom values and these custom fields, we're going to actually do just that. But we're going to do this in the new form builder. So as with anything in Highlevel, guys, if I'm showing you this or you're watching this on the replay and it's like, this doesn't make sense, it doesn't look the same, this is in labs. You have to go turn this on. As of right now, some of you may already have it turned on. It might look a little bit different, but the core principles and the core functionality are the same. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to add standard custom fields, which these are your standard custom fields. All of the things in quick add are standard fields that exist when you create the system. So we're going to do a quick form with a full name, with an email, and a phone number. Look at that. Terms and services are all logged in over here. Now we're going to put our application in here as well. So this is now a file upload for the application. That is the custom field that we just created. But what if we needed to create another one? So let's go and add a custom field at the bottom. And Diana, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. What other information do we need to grab from this client?
Like, what would I need
Yeah,
maybe?
give us an example of what you would need to add.
Oh, I like to have their birth date.
Perfect. That's an easy one. In fact, that's a standard field. So let's go to quick add.
Oh, that's
And
right.
let's go find,
Maybe
do I have birthday?
an income or like a desired ad spend, like different
Perfect.
ad
Perfect. So
spends.
we're going to use a monetary field, right? Because we're asking them about money. So let's go next and desired ad spend. We'll do monthly ad spend. Okay. Now, if you've been paying attention, what is the custom key for this going to be? Anybody? Anybody can answer. I'll give you a crisp high five if you get it.
Contact dot desired
Boom.
monthly underscore ad underscore spend.
That one's for you, Samori. Boom. There you go. Wi-Fi high five. There we go. So there you go. Contact dot desired underscore monthly underscore ad underscore spend. So when you're creating the names for these things, try to think about that, right? You want to simplify this as much as possible so that you can speed things up. Whereas if I say on this field, what is your desired monthly ad spend for your campaign? Holy Hannah, that is a long special key. You don't need to do that. You can customize what this field says in any survey or form you want. So we're just going to do, we're going to actually make it so simple, desired ad spend. I typically try to keep these like 3 or 4 words maximum when I'm creating the field, because then it's easier to manage. It's easier to find for me. We're going to put this in group. We can put this probably in additional info. I would put something like this in like an onboarding folder, because this would be more of an onboarding question, but I'll do it in additional info for now. We're going to make it a contact object. Okay, we could create the opportunity object here as well, but for now we're just going to create the contact object. And everything else is fine here. You can pre-fill these. So let's just say, you know what? We typically like people to have a minimum of $1,500 a month in ad spend. We're actually going to pre-fill this so that they have to change it if they want something different. Okay. So we're going to go save. Now, when we do that, give it just a second to think. There you go. There's your desired ad spend. And we can now add this to the form. And this is what I mean by keep the name simple, because you've got query keys, which this is more of an advanced topic that we'll discuss in a different one. But if you keep this query key shorter, you can do a lot more with it. And the label I can change to whatever I want. So I can now change this to what is your desired monthly ad spend. Make sense? Awesome. So not only can you create custom fields in the custom fields settings, you can also create custom fields directly from forms and surveys. So whenever I'm building a new account, I am often just skipping. I'll go create the folders that I want first. So in this document right here, I talk about that. I can't remember where I wrote it, but it's like create folders first. We highly recommend creating folders before creating these fields. So be well thought out, create those folders that you want for those specific elements, and then go and start building your assets. And the assets for me are forms and surveys, funnels, things like that, with the custom fields and custom values. Does that all make sense? Awesome. So we've gone a bit over our current half hour that we were wanting to do. So with that being said, thank you everybody who is watching on Facebook in the Free GHL Mastery group and or on YouTube when this gets posted. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, you can post them in the thread here, and we'll have somebody from our team jump in there and help you out and hopefully answer some of those questions. For now, we are going to do a private platinum breakout where we're going to kind of dive a lot deeper into these types of things. So that being said, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.